are like kindred spirits. When I see the energy, it's very similar, you know, and it's beautiful. If they evolved and if he learned to communicate how he felt to her, because I see that being a big thing for her. So after his kind of fling with the younger Libra that I saw, energy that I saw, he's going to realize things about himself that he's kept buried deep down, very deep down. Especially with Ace of Cups, Six of Swords, he's going to want to. He's been to many places. I saw energetically. I saw him going to Egypt. I saw him going to the Middle East to get in touch with his roots from his father's side, and it's going to empower him to let go. You know. Everyone, welcome back to Niall Horan. My name is Hallie. So grateful to have you all. Let's get into this reading. I'm really excited to be doing this. Please make sure that you are subscribed. With that being said, I've decided moving forward just to get my subscriber count up and to grow the community. Really does help if people are subscribed. So moving forward, I'm only going to take suggestions from subscribers or members. Members are automatically make it. Subscribers, it will be close to that, but I will take you seriously as recommendations. But if you're not subscribed, I'm not going to take the recommendation because I just feel like it's fair if you watch my channel continually, and just if I'm doing something for you to pay back, not necessarily pay back, but it would just be nice for people who are subscribed. It's just like a loyalty. What's the word I'm looking for? Today I'm having trouble speaking, so please bear with me. But please make sure you're subscribed, comment. I would love to hear what you say, and like the video. It really does help me out. Yeah, let's get into this video, this reading, and I'm doing One Direction. A lot of you request One Direction. This is how I grew my channel a lot. I'm not saying that that's why, but it's just to pay back for all of those who supported me. Your loyalty goes beyond anything. I'm very grateful for you all. I would say that Harry Styles has received the most, I don't want to say views, but Harry Styles has really helped my channel grow. All of the fans and all of you Harry Styles fans have been so sweet and so kind. So I'm very grateful for that. One Direction fans in general, but particularly Harry Styles. So I covered Zayn, I think 2 weeks ago, and today I'm going to be covering all of One Direction. I'm going to be doing an update. Unfortunately, I will not be doing an update on Liam because he has passed, and may he rest in peace. I have done a murder suspicion, or rather suspense type video, where I intuitively pick up on what happened to him. I have wanted to be respectful about it, so it's coming from a respectful place, and I just wish such a travesty, you know, when people pass on young and from substance issues. It's so maddening and saddening. It's just horrible, especially when they have young children, and he had a 7-year-old, 8-year-old. So very sad situation, and I just wish him and his family and his friends all the support that they need during this time. Okay, so let's get into the reading about One Direction. I will have timestamps in the video. I know lots of you asked me for timestamps, so I will have timestamps. I have a lot going on in my life right now, so I might not be able to put timestamps up for the member video, but they will definitely be up for the public video, because I re-edit videos another day before I put them up for the after I put them up for the members. So just being honest with you guys. Okay, so let's get into it. I'm going to start obviously with Harry. the wonderful Harry Styles, who we have a very similar chart. It's actually kind of creepy. I think that's why some of you have said that I am the best tarot reader for him, and that is such an honor. Thank you so much. I must say, not to toot my own horn, but I've been very accurate a lot about him. So check out my Harry Styles playlist. I've been accurate a lot. So let's just do a quick update. I will be doing follow-up updates, and I also am starting a new series called Future Love of Whomever. So I will have him in that too, so stay tuned. Okay, so I'm using the Light Years Tarot for this part. I am going to change decks as I go. And while I was shuffling the cards, when I was meditating, I did predict new music. I see that very strongly coming out. And I also predicted lots of writing. Aquarius Sun, we love to write. Love to write. I actually used to be a writer. But I see him writing songs. I see him writing a lot of songs, getting like very into it. I see him being inspired by the Beatles. A lot of what I have read about Harry Styles or told you all about Harry Styles, I have not known myself. It's what I pick up from the tarot. I always say this, reality TV is my is my addiction. So I don't focus on celebrity news. So it gives me a neutral stance of where I can read from. So I see him writing. I did say, and this was accurate in the last one, a lot of you sent me messages, comments that I saw him in Italy, in Toscana. Toscana is in the central eastern side of Italy. I see him there. It's beautiful. Italy's so beautiful. I'll actually go in Europe later this year. I'm so excited. But hopefully. But it's really beautiful. It's stunning. And something about the Mediterranean that's so romantic and just alluring is the colors and the laissez-faire attitude, the style, and I think he's very drawn, similarly, like I am, to Italian fashion. So I see him in like Giorgio Armani. He might even do a Giorgio Armani like campaign. I see him in a suit, black suit. I've said this for a while. I see very prominently a campaign where he's in a black suit. And he has a microphone, like an old style Hollywood microphone. They have those metal, like Elvis style microphones. And I see him performing at the Grammys in this suit. I've seen it a lot, this suit. And I see him moving forward, 10 of Wands, the Fool, wanting to move forward from his past. So I see him being single. And I have said this, I've recommended that actually he was single for some time. Because Aquarius, and I have said this about Harry Styles, Aquarius, if we don't find ourselves and then we are in a relationship, we can often devote a lot of time and energy to somebody else in a relationship when we should be devoting it to ourselves. So with that being said, I see very strongly, especially with the Fool, he wants a new chapter. He wants to be single. I've seen him working on himself for the past year. I saw health issues that I hope he's recovered from, and I wish him all the happiness and speedy recovery. So with the High Priestess, I also see him possibly having dreams. Now that's very Sun Aquarius, a lot of Sun Aquarius. Let me tell you something, guys, a lot of my dreams come true. I've had moments in life, a lot of times my dreams have come true. I'd say 70% of my dreams come true. And one time, I was in LA. I'm just going to tell you guys a quick story of an example. I was in LA, especially in LA, a lot of my dreams used to come true because LA is a very spiritual place. And I used to live there. So I was in LA and I was uncertain about the future of me living there or not. And I needed to find a job. This was during COVID. I was like, I need to find a job. And something just said to me at that time, like internally, intuitively, you will find something that's lucrative by the end of the week. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to trust that. And then I had a dream that night that I got sent an email, congratulations, and all of this, like welcoming me on board to this team. And so time passed, I still go for hikes and all that kind of stuff. And I actually forgot that I was looking for a job because I was like, you know, it's gonna come. And 2 days later, I received the exact same email that I had seen in my dream, which is very creepy. But if you're Sun and Aquarius, we tend to be very futuristic. A lot of us have dreams that come true, especially Moon too. Sun and Moon and Aquarius, a lot of us, our dreams come true. And I see that with him. I see him having dreams of he's kind of lost, especially when we're lost. I'm getting goosebumps right now because I'm just remembering situations with past exes where I've had dreams about them and then it's come to pass, especially when we're lost and we feel like we need guidance. A lot of us, if you're Sun and Aquarius and you have dreams, trust that everything's going to be fine and you will get downloads. It's literally like this, like downloads that come. And so I see him getting dreams at night, and his dreams are helping him with his creative process. He is in a time, or was, I say the past 3 months ago, he was going through a time where he felt lost. And he felt like he didn't want to be in music anymore. I get it, it's not for everybody. And a lot of his identity, I've said this before, in my early 30s, I felt very lost. And some of those dreams really helped me. So I think he's going through a similar situation where he's in his early 30s, he's lost. And his dreams are helping him, you know, I think he's tossed around the idea of leaving the music industry. But that is his heart and soul. You know, a lot of Aquarius, we love music. Music is our first love. And he's decided, or he's going to decide, what I say is the Aquarius superpower, to be yourself. Aquarius, that's what we are known for. People admire that about us. Sometimes we're afraid to stand alone. That's why we aren't ourselves a lot of the time. But it's better to be the loner who's authentic than to be the faker who has many friends around them. And he's really learning that. I think something's sinking in the message here very strongly for him. And especially it's coming through his dreams. So with the Hierophant being his general energy, he's only going to get better and better. I said that I see him peaking in his mid-30s. It doesn't mean that it's not going to get better after that. What I mean by peak is that I see him coming into himself, into his well-being, into who he is in his mid-30s. So that's what I see for Harry. I see a lot of promise. I see a lot of happiness. I see many good things coming for him. And like I said, as an Aquarius, I can speak to others, especially February Aquarius. I feel like I relate a lot to February Aquarius. Obviously because I am one and we just are very similar. But our superpower is being ourselves. And that doesn't mean we go around hurting people, but living true to what we think is true in our heart. Not by what other people go by, because that only leads to resentment. I've lived that life, trust me. I know. So 7 of Pentacles, I clarified 5 Swords and 6 of Wands. He's going to have to let go of the idea. He's getting fame is getting to him, and I don't blame him because he was so young when he became famous. Fame is getting to him, but he needs to remember that sometimes we're given a platform not because we are perfect, but it's so that we're shown, especially Aquarius. Look at what's happening with Justin Baldoni. We are often put up, in general, to show that imperfect people can heal and can grow and can learn. And it's about transparency, really. So yeah, that's what I have for you guys about Harry Styles. Now let's move on. I'm going to use the Star Chart Tarot for this. I'm going to move on to Zayn. Lovely Sun and Capricorn. Okay, I just got a download right now. I did say that I see him coming into kind of like a Libra-esque type of woman that he's going to fall for, and go check out that video. I will have a card up about it. It is in the Zayn playlist. And with 8 of Cups, 6 of Swords, and the Moon, I see him, you know, I struggle sometimes with Sun and Capricorns, because they can be very stubborn. The most stubborn sign, I think, is Sun and Capricorns. But I don't want to take away from a lot of what good they have. They can be very, I see this in him, very loyal. Very, very loyal. And his loyalty to the Hadid family has been his demise. Publicly, personally. And I see a lot of, I think his sisters are telling him, I see 3 women around him telling him, you don't have to protect her. You don't have to protect her. And I think he means Gigi. But in him, it's how Capricorns are. I've seen it a lot. I've been surrounded by lots of Capricorns growing up. My longest relationship was with a Capricorn. So I know them very well. Not all, but I know the stereotypical sign of Capricorn. And they can be so loyal, but a lot of their loyalty is because they're stubborn and they want to prove people wrong. Similar to Aquarius, because we're both ruled by by Saturn. Saturn is very much like, I'm going to prove this, I need to prove this, I need to work to prove it. But sometimes just being is proof enough. And you don't have to put on a show, and I think he needs to be reminded of that he doesn't have to put on a show. He doesn't have to show, like, go out of his way. And I think that might have been an issue that Gigi had with him, is that he is very put on a show, do this, do that, which comes from a good place. But I don't think he spent personal time with her. And I don't think he communicated. Capricorns are not good at communicating their feelings. And especially Capricorn men. And I think as women, we need to hear that. You know, we need to hear that you like me. We need to hear that side. Which Capricorns struggle with. Trust me, I've been there. So with 8 of Cups, 6 of Swords, and the Moon, I see that he's going to kind of have this 180 circular movement or aha moment that Gigi's the one for him, but maybe not the one for him right now. And I've said this when I started my channel, when I started doing these videos. I strongly believe that Gigi will end up back with him. They'll end up back together. It is intuitive based, it's not fact based, and they still have free will. But the cards have told me, my intuition has told me that if they evolve as people and they learn to hear one another out, and they block out the noise. I think with Gigi, block out the motherly noise. With Zayn, block out the public noise. They can really have a wonderful, wonderful relationship. And I don't say that for all couples. I just say that mostly for them. And there's another couple I've said that about. But I see it very strongly. That they are like kindred spirits. When I see the energy, it's very similar, you know. And it's beautiful. If they evolved and if he learned to communicate how he felt to her, because I see that being a big thing for her. So after his kind of fling with the younger Libra that I saw, energy that I saw, he's going to realize things about himself that he's kept buried deep down, very deep down. Especially with 8 of Cups, 6 of Swords, he's going to want to. He's been to many places. I saw energetically. I saw him going to Egypt. I saw him going to the Middle East to get in touch with his roots from his father's side. And it's going to empower him to let go. You know, to just be. And it's okay. I want to tell all Capricorns this because I feel like they need to hear this. Except for one person, that's a Capricorn that I know, that's close to me. But other Capricorns I've seen, they need to hear this. Vulnerability can be so beautiful, and you have to let people in, you know. Because I see him with the strength card putting on this facade of I'm strong, I'm this, I'm that. I even see him getting like a motorcycle and proving his strength. I'm strong, I can do this, I've got this, it's fine. And secretly not being fine. And it's okay, you don't have to run around telling everybody you're not okay, you know. But it's okay to admit that you're not okay, and that you're a work in progress. People will admire that about you because you're being honest and you're not putting on a show. So 5 of crystals, which is 5 pentacles in the traditional deck, 3 of pentacles, 9 of pentacles. He's going to use his music. I think he's been encouraged to start writing, to start journaling, I did say that in one of my last videos about him, is that, especially with Capricorns, stubborn types, Capricorn, Taurus, Scorpios, write down your feelings. And then as you start to write down your feelings, you realize how good it feels to release it. Because it's difficult, trust me, I did it for 5 years. I was very young at the time. I wouldn't do it today, and I don't shame him. I had my issues too, so I'm not saying everything fell on him. But being in a relationship with a Capricorn for 5 years who was very blocked emotionally, which I had blocks too. I don't want to say that I didn't. But it's very hard. Being on the receiving end of it, it's very hard to love somebody who's closed off and doesn't want to be loved. So, Capricorns, that's my message to you all. It's okay to be open, and it's okay. I remember, I'm going to tell you guys a quick story. So, I have like a love-hate relationship with how I grew up, you know. I was talking to someone I met, and I was telling them about how I went to this well-renowned British school, and she was like, oh my gosh, because she used to live in near the one in England, and the sister school was in South Africa. And I was telling her, yeah, I went to the school, and she was like, oh my gosh, like her energy changed towards me, and I really don't like that. That's why I live in America, because in general, America has its problems, but there's a sense of elitism that exists in certain countries that I don't agree with. So we were talking, and oh my gosh, I forgot the gist of my story. I keep doing that. I'll remember. Sorry, guys. I remember. It was basically about brainwashing. The gist of it was just that oh yes, sorry. Basically that you can have all the money in the world, you can be well traveled, you can speak in a beautiful accent, you can have the best clothes, you can be physically, externally the richest person. I mean, look at Elon Musk, you know. But how do you treat people? How do you love the people closest to you? You know, it's not about a show. And if you have to show people you love them, I believe in acts of service, you know. Acts of love is beautiful. But if people that are close to you have to question whether you love them or not, that's concerning, you know. So to just drop the facade of external only means so much, you know. It really does. It really, really does. Okay, let's move on. Lewis Tomlinson. Okay, so Lewis Tomlinson, also a sun in Capricorn, excuse me, I almost said Taurus. He must have Taurus in his chart. I'm using the Pixel Soleil Tarot. Really love this deck. I had shuffled it, I don't know why. I put it in the right direction, now it's all the wrong direction. Ha ha ha. That's one direction. No pun intended. Okay, so let's see. Lewis Tomlinson. Also sun in Capricorn. I see him having Gemini in his chart. Let's see. Okay. Wow. Sad. Oh, I just got goosebumps. Really, really sad. So, I see him really struggling with the passing of Liam. A lot. It's very sad. Very, very, very sad. He's almost like... It's tough. And let me tell you something. 2 years ago, my sister passed away, and it was the most emotional pain I've ever felt in my life. Let me tell you. And I don't want to be a victim. It's not about me, but it's just going through that process. I couldn't eat. I couldn't eat for like a week. Honestly, I couldn't remember my name. The fact that I still went to work was shocking. So grief, just, you can be the most emotionally stable person. I actually ended up back in therapy because of it. Not because of her, but because of how I felt losing her. And it takes your whole world and it just turns you upside down, and it's a mess, you feel like a mess. But on the contrary, it also made me realize that life's too short to be upset with people, and life's too short to be around negativity, and life's too short, and it really, really sounds cliched, but until you realize it, that's why I don't really have any more a long fuse for people that I don't like. I just let them go, and then that's it. It also taught me to live life authentically and to be true. And I've always said this, both my sisters are, I think, my biggest teachers, have been. And sometimes it takes losing somebody for them to teach you a lesson. It's weird. I know it sounds really weird. So with that being said, it seems like Lewis has learned a huge lesson from the circumstances of Liam passing on. I think, and I don't want to get too much into my family dynamics because it doesn't have a place here, but just when you lose somebody, and I've lost other people too who have passed on, you want to make sure that you told them everything you could. And I think with Four of Cups and the Hanged Man, it didn't end well. Something happened. And it's tough. With an addict, it's very, very tough. Because you want to hold them accountable, but you also realize that they are not in control of themselves, So I see that with him, that he had this, he probably used to call him at night. I see him calling him late at night, and him just saying, listen mate, like, get it together, I'm sick of doing this for you. And you become sick, but then you realize they're selfish, but then you have to become selfish, and then in the selfish exchange, nobody wins, which is very unfortunate. So with Seven of Swords, he's reanalyzing how he treats people. He's setting different boundaries. I see him maybe going to India, doing yoga. He's going on like a spiritual healing venture where he really just wants strength in reverse. He wants to let down his guard, and that's the irony. I was just talking about how Sun and Capricorns, and I strongly believe he's Sun and Capricorn. I apologize if he's not, but that's what I remember him being. How a lot of Sun and Capricorns tend to guard themselves, and not say sorry. A lot of Capricorns, I know, they don't apologize, and they're very guarded. So he wants to let down his guard. He realizes that about himself, and I'm very proud of him for realizing that. With Ace of Swords, the Chariot, and the Devil, which is the god of Capricorn. Not like in the devil in a bad way, but he sees the shadow side of himself, and he wants to heal it. He must have Virgo too, the Hermit, in his chart, and he wants to heal it. He really wants to become almost like pure again. He might even have some kind of like baptism, a ritual of cleansing, where he just wants to strip his former self and be born again. And focus on his family, the Chariot, focus on his friends, focus on things that he believes will help him heal. And I applaud him and I wish him only the best. Only the best for that. Okay, so let's move on to, last but not least, I'm using the Earth Woman Tarot. Niall Horan, or Horan, how you say it? Let's see. So he is a sun in Virgo, if I remember correctly. I like his energy a lot, I must say. He's very stable. Every time I do his reading, I just get like a sense of calm. Which a lot of my Virgos in my life are very calm people. I don't have people in my life that are not calm. I don't do well with overly emotional people. I just don't. Okay, let's see. No. Okay, so I see him wearing white. Lots of white. White might be his favorite color or tone, because white is not a color. And with the World, 6 of Wands, and 2 of Cups. So lots of business. So I see that there's a woman in his life, right? And she might be involved in the business side, but I see them also being romantically involved. I think they might already be together. I think I picked this up a while ago. I see something named Jessica. So I get the name Jessica. And it's almost like he wants to take things to the next level. I think he might propose to her. 3 of Cups. This person, they've been together. They've had a relationship for a long time. So I don't know if it's a romantic relationship, but he wants to take things to the next level, 100%. And 6 of Wands is going to be like a celebration. Usually 4 of Wands about marriage, but I don't think he might be like me, a child of divorce that doesn't look at marriage as a wedding, you know. I don't want to be cynical, but I think a lot of people focus too much on the wedding and they don't focus on the marriage. But he wants to focus on the partnership. He's got very good energy. Very, very good energy. And let's see. It's almost like he's marrying his friend. I see her with like a white something around her. She's very boho type. I see them up by mountains, and she's wearing this white boho style wedding dress. Yes, similar to this. Funny, it just came out. Similar to this on her head. See that very strong. Queen of Wands, Ace of Pentacles, 2 of Swords. So she's going to have to make a decision if she wants to live the famous life. I think she's been in the shadows. She doesn't want to be famous, and I don't blame her. I say it all the time. So that's why I haven't really been, I wouldn't say public with somebody that I've dated that's famous, but just all out there, because, you know, once you get out there, you can't come back. So I think that's why she's very quiet. She's to herself. British are also in general more quiet. But with Queen of Wands, Ace of Pentacles, and 2 of Swords, she almost has this, she's a person that does a lot behind the scenes. She's very work behind the scenes. She might be a fire sign too. I get Aries energy, or she has Aries in her chart. She's very hardworking behind the scenes, not in front. And because of that, with 2 of Swords, she often questions, should I be, because he seems like he's headed down the trajectory of becoming more famous, and she struggles with that. And let me tell you, I don't want to talk too much about myself, but I just want to tell you guys this quick story, quick note, that unless you've been with somebody famous, you don't get it. You know, lots of people are like, oh, I'd love to be famous, I'd love to be that. And then you just see, I literally, one time I was with my ex, and this woman just like bumped into me in front of me and pushed me out of the way. I was like, what? I thought to myself, this is outrageous. And he kind of laughed. He was like, this is ridiculous. And I thought, wow, I don't take things personally a lot of the time. But that I was concerned about, because I thought to myself, this is going to be a continual problem. Obviously, I think he should have stood up for me. That's another story. But it's just, a famous person has to understand that the person that they're dating that's not famous, which is probably why they usually date famous people, if they do date or marry somebody who's not famous on the public light, they're going to have to stand up for that person, or take a little bit of a back seat for being super famous or being very well known, and live a little more of a humble life, especially if you're dealing with an energy like this. She's very to herself, you know. But I see them having lots of potential. The Empress at the bottom of the deck, a lot of promise. But if it doesn't go well, she will break up with him and be the kind of person she'll want nothing to do with him ever again. So that's what I have for you guys. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. Please be respectful. Please subscribe. Again, I'm only moving forward taking suggestions from subscribers. So if you have the red YouTube button next to you, and members, always take your suggestions. But if you don't have a red button, and if you don't have a butterfly next to you, I won't be taking your suggestion moving forward. It's just to make it fair to those who are loyal to the community, who do show up for me and aren't just using this channel to get answers. I mean, we all kind of are, but I want to grow this community in a way that is authentic and in a way that we show up for each other. So that's what I have, you guys. I love you all. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.